less stressful.
So
let's not discuss the chairmanship.
Move this. Councillor Casey?
I've got a question. Just when is the age-friendly cities report coming back?
See you, Chris.
August or September? As promised.
Off the top of my mind, I do not know the answer, Councillor Casey. We will confirm.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got a no up the back as well, so I can't. I'm not going to promise then under to deliver. So we will confirm the date.
Thank you. It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Casey. I'll put that. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Declare that carried. We go to item 15. Matters for information. I'll move that. Seconded by Councillor Stewart. I'll put that motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Declare that carried. We now move into public. Oh no, sorry. We've got Councillor Casey's extraordinary item of business. Councillor Casey, it's been moved and you've got the floor. There's
Thank
no
you.
motions or anything comes out of this.
Councillors, you've received various memos from Grant regarding the pup that was found in Grey Lynn, deposited in a rubbish bin that then went to the shelter and has since been euthanised. And in the memo, Grant said, just one sentence, animal management staff who have been subjected to a considerable amount of online abuse. I want to talk to that both as a Facebook user, and I'm sure most of the councillors do dabble on Facebook in some way. I have never seen the level of abuse that I have witnessed in the last few days since the statement made by Jeff Keeper, who's only the acting manager of animal management. He personally has received death threats, which I've read and passed on to Grant, and just appalling. So that a video was posted so people would know what he looked like. His LinkedIn address was posted so that people would know how to contact him. And from that came statements like, so this is the murderer, heartless beep. Buckle up, mate, that's all I'm going to say. Or another one. This is the only one that didn't have a swear word in it. He needs to meet a cricket bat in a dark parking lot and he needs to know why. Or this one. You effing ballhead C. The only one who should have been put down is you effing idiot C. Watch yourself. You waste of space, hungry, worthless piece of... It wasn't just Jeff. As soon as the pup was said to be at the Henderson shelter, there was a publication of a telephone conversation between shelter staff who answered the phone and people who were inquiring after the pup. Alongside that came a whole raft of abusive comments about our shelter staff. Now, these are just people who were told by Dean not to make a comment, and that's what they did, no comment. So this conversation was published online, which I think was highly, highly unethical and probably illegal, and it was taken down eventually. But the comments about Jeff Keeper remain in place. Now, I want to talk about that because the issue is about our policy on euthanising pit bulls and pit bull crosses. Now, the policy isn't one that we consulted over. It's not part of our dog policy and it's not part of our bylaw. It's actually an operational policy of the council. Now, what I'd like to ask Dean is, given that 12,653 people signed a petition, and I signed it, I don't support the policy that we have, but given there's this amount of interest and level of emotion over the destruction of crosses, pit bulls and pit bull crosses, or breed specific, are we going to respond in some way with regard to it? And I ask that in all seriousness because the SPCA a few months ago changed their policy and they now rehome temperament tested pit bulls and pit bull crosses. And as the advocate for the SPCA on council, I asked animal management at the time if we were reviewing our policy, and the answer came back, no. So I bring this to you because of the Facebook page. It's got nearly 4,000 people who like it. There's been the petition, 12,500 over 3 days. So there's a seam there. the abuse and the threats, absolutely outrageous. But the response of council is what? So over to you, Dean.
Can I pick up on a few things? First of all, we recognise the passion, but there's passion across a broad spectrum. Those that are passionate about animal welfare and those that are passionate about people's safety. I also want to acknowledge that we have a zero tolerance on bullying behaviour. I think if we're in public open committee, I'm happy to reaffirm that. We have given Jeff and the staff every support. That includes in the workplace, and we make sure that he and his family feel safe as we would anybody else. And I would ask all councillors to be alert to bullying, whether it's of your peers or staff. It is not acceptable. And we know New Zealand is a significant issue. But congratulations to Grant and his team. They're doing the right things to make sure that our staff are safe. And we will do everything we can to ensure that. So that brings me to your last question, and that is how do we handle the passion on this particular issue? So my recommendation is we have a dog policy in place. It doesn't address this specific issue. It's an operational policy matter. We will be bringing back to this committee in August or September our annual operations report. I would expect us to address in that report some of the steps that I think we may wish to follow through with respect to our dog policy, and my recommendation that anything that's to be done there, in particular in this area, is done through Regulatory Bylaws Committee. So that's my proposed way forward. I think we need to tread very carefully through this one. When I look at the passion and the engagement around the amnesty, we recognise that there's two very strong sections of the community, and we're trying to balance those animal welfare and people safety expectations.
Thank you. Councillor Penrose.
Just to back up Councillor Casey, and thanks, Mr Chair. And for those who come out to the Head Office of Animal Management for our audit and risk, all four councillors, as part of our health and safety as directors of Auckland Council, would have heard firsthand what our animal management team face on a daily basis. And I want to say, first of all, since we took this contract, we went away from contracting and brought this in-house in November 2014, our guys have led it absolute from the front. And they are passionate people, real passionate. And I'm not going to repeat it here, but if you'd been there, you would have heard what our guys get paid. And you'd be absolutely shocked when I see what elected members get paid and what these guys do for our job. 7 days a week, 24/7, wind, rain, hail and shine. Unbelievable. We ran that amnesty. 1,529 dogs was the final count. 1,529 menacing dogs. Touch wood, we haven't had a dog attack since our last one in Takanini. An ongoing cost to that little boy is $4 million plus. $250,000 to $260,000 to cost to the council for prosecution and taking no nonsense. I was out with the guys on Monday, and I couldn't get Tuesday or Wednesday because of committees, but I was in the Clendon, Weymouth and Manurewa area on Monday, and again it was people that ignored the amnesty, ignored it, and choose to obviously pay between $500 and $1,000 because they choose to ignore the amnesty. And the abuse that our guys get, it's just tenfold. It's just unbelievable. So the support that we need for those guys is the support what we're here for, to get them behind those guys and give them every bit of support they possibly can. And I even said to Jeff on Monday with News Hub, please release that transcripts of what our guys put up with on a daily basis. The threats, the stabbings, they want to stab the animal officers. Those guys are as passionate about animals as what we all are in this table. They are real passionate, but they've got a job to do. In this particular case with this pup, we have a process, we have a policy in place. The dog has to be in custody, well, in custody, but in care for 7 days to step through the process. The dog does not get destroyed. But this dog in itself was an unwell dog. The owner should have been held to account. And somebody out there knows who the owner is, not our animal management staff. So I'm going to leave it there, but we need to get them behind those guys who are doing an outstanding job on a daily basis, whether it's on the motorways, whether it's in paddocks, whether it's in the back streets of wherever. But we need to get them behind them, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Fulapana.
Thank you, Chair. Just one question to Dean. Dean, in regards to the threats that have been outlined by Councillor Casey, I mean, they are disgusting. So are we taking it any further in regards to prosecution, tracking? Because, I mean, that's just one way of at least making the point to those that wish to end up doing what they want to do on Facebook or electronic media. So I'm hoping it is, but yeah, just a question.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to add to what I said. We've referred the matter to the police. They've got records of everything on Facebook, and we referred the matter to Facebook, and we appeal to the moderator of that Facebook site to take the appropriate action.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cashmore.
Just to back up what Councillor Penrose says, but also to congratulate Kathy, Councillor Casey, for bringing this to our attention. You know, what we saw down at Sharkey Street in Manukau in the animal shelter was shocking. And I would really encourage all the councillors to attend the next health and safety visit that we have. And you got an invite for it earlier this week, because this gives you an insight not only to what our staff do, but into our responsibilities as officers under the Act. And it is a really good and practical way for us to fulfil our roles. This puppy, is a terrible incident, but what we saw that our officers face daily down there was truly, it was eye-opening for me and somewhat shocking, and it's not acceptable. Facebook warriors, in this instance, aren't acceptable. The sort of intimidation and just basically bodily harm threats that our staff face, both men and ladies, is not acceptable. And we need to face up to that as a community as well. And we, as leaders of the community, need to lead that discussion. So thank you to Jeff and his team for the work they're doing on our behalf. They are really unsung heroes. And thank you, Kathy, for bringing it to our attention. I think it's something that's really important that we need to, as a community, face up to, that we do have an underbelly that is not pleasant.
Yeah. Councillor Stewart.
No, it's actually been said. It was
Okay.
mainly about following up about.
Okay. Well,
So, Mr Chairman, just before, and it's not to do with the puppy issue, but I do think the bullying of staff that concerns me, and recently Councillor Watson, Walker and myself have been copied into well over 650 emails calling for Andrew Duncan to resign.
Which is absolute bullying.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm agreeing with you.
order.
You know, and from an organisation that I happen to know was using people that I know that had no idea that sort of thing was being sent out on their behalf. And I just think this council's got to push back on that. And it goes beyond just asking to resign. You know, we know where you live, sort of thing.
Can I, Mr. Chair, I just wonder on behalf of I know that this is raised as an issue and we can't pass recommendations, but I think it would be a very good thing for us to pass on in a more formal way our appreciation and our respect for the work of this part of our organisation. I cannot speak strongly enough for the work that our animal welfare team do. And in saying that, I just wonder if we could make a little distance between any review of our dog policy and this very unfortunate bullying incident, because I, for one, would not condone to be seen to be influenced in any way by an aggressive, vile and hate-filled campaign to actually make changes. So let's just have a little bit of space between the two. And can I, as part of our, just one final point, if we are about to have an agreement around this table of how vile this kind of process it is, can I ask all councillors to address the Facebook pages as well?
Some of them are dreadful.
They are.
Okay, so we'll
Just a question.
we'll do up a letter to send to animal control people.
Expressing our support.
Chair, just a question on the actual 16.1. I just wanted to sort of see if it was okay to put in the threats as well, because it is public record. The reason I'm saying that the matter of staff being bullied, because really the outrageous one is the threats that have been made, not only the bullied, but I just wanted to at least put it in there because it then becomes public record.
We'll say threatened and bullied.